welcome to Hardtalk India. My guest today is the Chief Minister of India's southern state of Tamil Nadu. Just over 3 years ago, her party won an astonishing 80% victory in the state elections. Just over 3 months ago, her party failed to win a single seat in the national elections. How does she explain this astonishing reversal of fortune? Is the Chief Minister misunderstood, or has the Chief Minister made mistakes? That, in a sense, is the core question that I shall put today to the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Jayalalitha. Chief Minister, how do you explain that humiliating outcome in May? Not a single seat for your party.
I don't think it was a humiliating outcome at all. The results showed that we have retained our vote bank. We got more than 1 crore of votes on our own, which I think was a very good performance.
But you got no seats.
Yes, but that is because we go by a simple majority system here.
So the voting pattern of the country and the voting system went against you?
I will say that we retained our vote bank. There was no erosion in our vote bank. We did very well. But there was a formidable alliance ranged against us.
Let's talk a little about the image the press has built up about you, which many people believe has gone against you this time around. Over the last 3 years, the press has variously described you as undemocratic, as irresponsible. They've even talked about you as irrational, vengeful, and maybe even irresponsible. Are you misunderstood, or have you made mistakes that you can admit to?
I'm not irresponsible at all. That is totally removed from the truth. Yes, I am misunderstood. As for all these tags, it is because the media have been against me, not just for the past 3 years, but ever since I came to politics. Perhaps it is because the whole world is a stage and everyone is acting all the time, and I tend to be straight to the point. Hypocrisy is not my forte at all. That way, I must say, I am a bit unconventional for a politician. The rule of the game seems to require considerable play acting. I have acted in films before the cameras, but I am incapable of acting in real life.
You mean your honesty and straightforwardness
I am
goes
honest.
against you?
Let me be very honest with you. I prefer to play straight, and I prefer speaking the truth. If I appear to be blunt, so be it. Yes, I am misunderstood, and the media have a large part to play in this.
Let's explore that a little. You said that you weren't irresponsible, yet within 5 days of your party failing to win a single seat at the May general elections, you reversed a whole series of decisions that you had taken over the last year.
Let me explain. The changes made in May 2004 were termed by the press and the media as rollbacks, and they made it appear that these were done in the wake of the results of the parliamentary elections. But that is not really so. What I was attempting was a major calibration of the process of structural adjustment, which had to be undertaken after I assumed office in May 2001.
But you did it just after you lost seats.
No, let me explain. I will explain. You must remember that I was bequeathed a shattered economy and total fiscal chaos by the previous DMK government. To put it mildly, the state treasury was simply not making payments. I inherited a whole pile of unpaid bills. The fiscal balance had to be restored, and these needed structural changes. It was bitter medicine.
Forgive me, Chief Minister, the reforms include economic and fiscal reforms which you reversed.
Yes.
So far from making structural changes, you were reversing your own structural changes.
No, I was just explaining that I inherited a whole pile of unpaid bills and fiscal chaos. I had to make the people swallow bitter medicine. By 31st March 2003, all the arrear payments were cleared, and by the end of the fiscal year 2003-2004, Tamil Nadu's fiscal health was fully restored. As the fiscal situation turned from terminal decline to the pink of robust health, I started making these calibrations even from January 2003, well before the parliamentary elections.
Do you know what people say? The press says that Jayalalitha reversed her economic and fiscal reforms, such as stopping power to farmers, such as stopping cheap access to easy grain for people earning over 5,000, because she wanted easy popularity. She'd lost.
That's not
She was
true.
worried she'd lose again.
That is not correct. You must remember that Tamil Nadu has been greatly affected by 3 years of continuous drought. And people, particularly the poor, farmers and agricultural laborers, had to be insulated against the income shock caused by drought. In such a situation, one cannot be dogmatic or opinionated. If change is warranted in a new situation, so be it. It has to be done.
In which case, why
I'm
did you...
sure I have done well in protecting the farmers and the landless agricultural laborers. And you must remember that Tamil Nadu has been free from starvation deaths and malnutrition deaths which have afflicted many other
But
states.
Chief Minister, why then did you reverse the anti-conversion bill? That was extremely popular when you first passed it.
That has nothing
It
to
was
do with
hated.
economic reform.
Yes, but it was one of the reversions.
It was misunderstood, and particularly it was blown up by the media.
So in other words, you buckled under media pressure.
No, not at all. It was misunderstood by many people. It was not an anti-conversion law. It was an anti-forcible conversion law.
But it was misunderstood for almost 2 years. You could have repealed it earlier. You didn't. You only repealed it after you failed to win seats.
It had nothing to do with that. If you insist on giving this interpretation, I can't help it.
What about the...
As to why the media is biased, it is because I'm a self-made woman. Politics has for long been a male bastion. Mrs. Indira Gandhi changed all that. But still you must remember that Mrs. Indira Gandhi had all the inbuilt advantages. She had the advantage of being born.
You're saying the media picks on you?
I do think so. I do think so.
Because
but
you're
you're not
woman?
allowing me to finish anything I want to say.
No, but is it because you're a woman?
I don't think it's because I'm a woman. It's because I don't have a background like other women political leaders of Asia. If you'll allow me to complete a sentence, Mrs. Indira Gandhi was born into the Nehru family. She was the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru. Mrs. Sirimava Bandaranaike was the wife of Bandaranaike. Benazir Bhutto was the daughter of Bhutto. Khalida Zia was the widow of Ziaur Rahman.
What's the point you're making?
Sheikh Hasina was the daughter of Mujibur Rahman. I have no such background. I'm a self-made woman.
And so you're picked upon?
Nothing was handed to me on a golden platter.
But are you saying that because you're self-made, you're picked upon?
I do not know the reasons. It's the media who have to explain why they have been so biased.
You say you're not irresponsible. You say that in fact
if you know
calibrated
my routine,
changes...
If you knew my routine, you would be surprised. I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I am awake till 1 the next morning. And all my time, all my attention is religiously devoted to work, and nothing else but
Chief
work.
Minister,
I have no time to think of vendetta or think of vengeance against my enemies or run other people down.
It's interesting you should pick the word vendetta. You say you have no time for vendetta. The press point out that when you arrested your predecessor, you did it at 2 in the morning on a Saturday, although the case against him had only been filed the day before.
If you will allow me a few minutes.
But can I finish the question?
I know what you're getting at. So the DMK government foisted cases against me and threw me into jail. I languished in jail for 28 days in a case in which I was ultimately acquitted.
So was it
when
revenge?
Mr. Karunanidhi did this, the media gave him kudos for throwing me into jail, portraying it as the triumph of good over evil. If only they knew the truth. Later, the people saw through Mr. Karunanidhi's mean game and they elected me to power again in 2001 by the thumping majority.
But when you
I
arrested
became
him,
chief minister, Mr. Karunanidhi was arrested in a corruption case. At the time, his family channel Sun TV played a big hoax. Can I interrupt
because I think the important thing, Chief Minister...
And at that time, the entire media...
You're reading a statement.
I'm not reading, I'm looking at you and talking. You can check it in the camera.
But
I'm looking at you and speaking.
I want to say...
I'm not reading.
I want to put out a concern to you. People said...
You have notes before you. Shall I say you're reading?
I have questions in front of me.
All right, I have notes in front of me. Nothing forbids me from having notes.
Chief Minister,
I am not reading.
you-
I'm looking at you straight in the eye. I look everyone straight in the eye.
You arrested a man who was 77.
The age has nothing to do with
A former
corruption.
Chief Minister of 14 years standing.
I too was a former Chief Minister
So
when
was
I
it
was
revenge?
arrested.
Was it vengeance?
It was not vengeance. He was involved in a corruption case.
You don't regret the way it was handled?
I do not regret it at all, because what was shown to the people was cleverly edited footage, which was a hoax played on the people. People in the media like you may not have seen through it. You may have taken it at face value, but the people saw through it.
Okay. What about what the press calls your inconsistency and unreliability? They say that her relationship with Sonia Gandhi as an ally is an on-off affair.
I do not want to discuss Mrs. Sonia Gandhi in this interview.
Why?
I have the choice to pick and choose the questions I want to answer.
You have a choice to pick and choose the questions you wish to answer, but don't you
It's my
believe that...
democratic right.
But a lady who
I
was
don't
your...
have to answer every question you put to me. I do not wish to discuss Mrs. Sonia Gandhi.
Except for the fact that people will wonder why you don't want to talk about someone who was an ally of yours in 99, who you publicly spoke against as a possible Prime
If you
Minister
have
in
any other
2003.
questions, you may ask them. I don't wish to answer this question.
Okay, can I put one thought to you? The press say that she turned against Sonia Gandhi in 2003 to ingratiate herself with the BJP. Today, she is saying nice things about Sonia Gandhi because she wishes to ingratiate herself with Congress.
I have not said any such nice things. All that I said was, I did not make any personal attacks, and I have no reason to make any personal attacks. What happened during the parliamentary polls was an electoral confrontation and not a personal confrontation.
Except in
Now I'm looking you straight in the eye and you're reading from your
I'm
notes.
reading a quotation of yours so that I don't get it inaccurate. In 98 you said, it would be a national shame if that foreigner comes to power. In 2003 you said, it would be a crying shame and moral bankruptcy for the Congress to project Sonia Gandhi as Prime Minister.
My feelings on the issue of a person of foreign origin ruling the country are well known.
And unchanged?
My statements are on record. There is no change in my stand.
So you remain by your position
Yes, I'm quite
that
consistent.
Sonia Gandhi should not become Prime Minister of
Not
India.
just Sonia Gandhi, not just Mrs. Sonia Gandhi, any person of foreign origin.
Let's switch to another concern the media has. They say that Jayalalitha is undemocratic. In fact, they go further. They say you're dictatorial. How do you respond to that?
I think people are the best judges.
Why?
The media has never had good things to say about me. And you didn't allow me to finish what I wanted to say earlier.
Why do your
You'll be
MLAs
surprised to know my routine, I said. I spend all my time devoted to work. I don't do anything else. I work all the time for the development of Tamil Nadu, for the good of the people of Tamil Nadu.
I accept that completely. But why do your MLAs and your ministers in public prostrate themselves in front of you?
They prostrate before other political leaders. They prostrate before Mr. Karunanidhi too. His MLAs and MPs do that all the time.
But there are people...
Except that you choose not to notice it. Whenever there is any small incident involving me, it is blown up beyond proportion. It is an Indian tradition to seek blessings from elders.
In this fashion?
Yes, it's an Indian tradition. I think you are an Indian. I think you know enough about Indian tradition and culture.
But is it fitting for ministers of the
I have
state?
asked them not to do it.
They won't listen to you?
They do listen. They don't do it nowadays in public.
It's been stopped.
It's been stopped.
When you say they don't do it in
I
public...
have given many statements to this effect. I have given many statements to this effect. I have given public statements asking my party men and MLAs and ministers not to prostrate in public. They don't do it. They've not been doing it for the last 3 or 4 years.
The media also points towards the fact that in slightly over 3 years you have reshuffled your cabinet, as the Deccan
That is
Chronicle
my
points out,
prerogative
over 15
for
times.
administrative convenience.
You mean to say that you need to do it so often for administrative convenience?
I know what I need to do for the good of the state.
The press says...
If certain persons are appointed to certain posts, and if their performance is not satisfactory, for the good of the state, for administrative improvement, I have to make a change. I cannot refrain from making a change simply because there will be carping criticism from persons in the media like you.
Except for the fact that the media all the way across the country says that Jayalalitha does it to keep them insecure, to keep them dependent on her.
If they keep on making such unjustified remarks, I have nothing to say.
Let's talk a little about you. Your party, the AIADMK, is formally part of the Dravida movement. The Dravida movement is...
Not formally part of the Dravida movement. It is still part of the Dravidian movement.
Except that the Dravidian movement is a rationalist, atheist, iconoclastic movement. Where do you personally
It's not an
fit into
atheist
that?
movement. It's not an atheist movement. You're totally wrong. You haven't read Dravidian history.
Periyar was an atheist.
Anna said, Undre kulam uruvane devam. That means there is only one God. So Anna recognized the existence of God. So it doesn't mean atheism.
Are you embarrassed by your belief in numerology and astrology?
Who said that I believe in astrology and numerology? You say it. People in the media say it. What is the proof you have of that?
Don't you choose...
Why should I be embarrassed?
Don't you choose auspicious hours for when you do things?
Many people in India do that. Have you asked this question of Mr. Vajpayee, Mr. Advani, many other leaders?
I asked identical questions of Vasundhara Raje Scindia. The press say that Jayalalitha spends a lot of time propitiating gods. She spends a lot of time choosing auspicious hours. Are you superstitious?
I'm not superstitious. And I must say, I'm rather disappointed with the tone and tenor of this interview. You seem to preface almost every sentence, every question, with the words the press says or the media say so. The press and the media have always been making uncharitable, unfair, unjustified remarks, comments without any basis. What do you expect me to say to all this?
Can I ask you, why did you believe
If people believed all that the media have said about me, have written about me, I couldn't have won a single election. I wouldn't be sitting where I am now.
Except for the fact in 2001, suddenly...
I'm sorry I agreed to do this interview. That's all I can say.
In 2001, Chief Minister, you changed the spelling of your name. Can I ask you why? You added an extra A?
It's my prerogative to do so. I don't have to explain it. I don't have to explain anything to you for that matter.
No, but I ask for a simple reason. As Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, you set an
I
example...
changed the spelling of my name before I became the Chief Minister again. That is my prerogative. Did you ask Vaiko why he changed his name to Vaiko from Y. Gopalaswamy? Go and ask him that.
So when the press depict you, as I began this interview by saying...
You're doing a good job of it again now.
No, I'm putting the question to you. When the press depict you as irresponsible because you
I'm
changed
not
policies,
irresponsible. I spend
you
all
deny
my
it.
time working. I
When-
deny it totally.
When they say you're vengeful, you deny it.
I deny that.
When they say you're inconsistent, you deny it.
I do deny it.
And when they say that her attitude to astrology and numerology suggests she's irrational, you deny that as well.
I deny that also.
Then
I'm a perfectly rational, sensible, sober, very responsible leader. I can say with confidence that no other chief minister in Tamil Nadu's history has worked so hard for the development and progress of the state as I have been doing and as I am doing.
Then let me put this to you. You face state elections in slightly under 2 years' time in May 2006 at the latest.
Yes, I'm perfectly aware of that.
Are you worried that after the problem you faced in May at the general elections when your party didn't win a single seat, that you
I'm
could
not
lose
worried
the
at
state
all.
election?
I'm not worried at all.
But won't this press image that is widespread through the country, not just Tamil Nadu, work against you?
It's irrelevant.
You're confident that you can reach out to the people above the press and convince them of the real Jayalalitha?
As I told you earlier, if the people took seriously what the media persons have been writing about me and saying about me, I could not have won a single election.
Except that you lost in 96 and you didn't win any seats at the national election in 2004.
What about 98, which came immediately after 96?
But this is what
What
I'm,
about the general elections then?
But this is what I'm saying. Your career in the last 10 years, and particularly in the last 3, has seen
This
amazing
is true
roller
of every
coasters.
political leader. It's true of life itself. Life is full of ups and downs. A political career of any leader is full of victories and defeats. No one is consistently successful. No one is a consistent loser.
You've also faced cases in court. Does it worry you that you have to go to courts now, not just in Tamil Nadu, but
I
in
have
Karnataka?
been facing a number of cases since 1996. All these cases were foisted on me. I have never run away from facing these cases. I have been acquitted in 12 cases so far. What does that show? That the cases were false.
In one of the cases, the Tansi case where you were acquitted and exonerated by the Supreme Court, the same court in its verdict said it asked you to ponder on whether you had done the right thing in breaching the spirit
I never
of the
comment
code
on
of
any judgment
conduct.
of the Supreme Court. I have never done so far. I will not do it now.
Except for the fact that many people felt, not just the press this time, that the court was actually saying that legally you were innocent, but morally you had a case to answer, at least to yourself
I told
personally.
you, I do not comment on any judgment of the Supreme Court, whether the judgment involves me personally or any other matter of public importance. I never have commented on any judgment of the Supreme Court. I will not do so. Now,
You're a very tough person, Chief Minister.
people like you have made me so.
You said that you were misunderstood.
Yes,
Do you think that you're badly treated by the press?
I do not wish to say anything more on this. Anyway, your interview is not doing anything to help matters.
My aim, Chief Minister, was to get to the core of the misunderstanding. You said that you
Your
think
aim
the press...
seems to have been to put as many unpleasant questions as possible and try to provoke me.
Not to provoke you, but to put to you the questions that have been discussed for the last 3 years, and which in many ways may be responsible
What had you asked
for
all
the
your
electoral
questions?
adversity.
Have you got anything more to ask?
I've come very close to the end of this interview. I have only one last question. Are you confident that you can see your electoral low point over with, and that you will win in 2006?
Wait and see. I told you already I don't believe in astrology. I can't predict what will happen in the next elections, but you will be around, I suppose. Wait and see what happens.
But is that a yes, you will win?
I said wait and see.
Chief Minister, a pleasure talking to you on Hardtalk India.
I must say it wasn't a pleasure talking to you. Namaste.
I'm sorry that you say that, but...